Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Collective, where we take a look at the next 7 days together. And thank you so much for taking some time. I know a lot of you, it's a holiday. Happy Easter to those of you that celebrate, and thank you for spending a little time with me. But for all of us, this is a chance for us to hit a reset. I was looking at the calendar, and we're about a week or so away from a retrograde. We're into a new season by a few weeks. It's a nice spot for everybody to really kind of look at things and think, what can I make a change on? What can I do differently? Apollo's just coming back from eating, so he'll be in the background for a second. But welcome, everyone. If this is your first time here, I'm so glad that you joined. This is our schedule. We're going to start with channeled messages first. Then we'll get into a 7-day forecast. And then we have a really cool special topic today, which is looking to the future here. It's basically, what are you calling in? So this will be a chance to course correct. It's basically a manifestation pulse, if you will, and saying, like, do I like what I'm calling in, or do I need to adjust it? So as a reader, it gives me a lot of flexibility to help you out with that as well. Okay, welcome. Good to see you guys. Like I said, we're going to start with channeled messages, and the channeled messages for me come through dreams primarily. And I got the strangest symbol today in dreams. But I honor whatever comes through because it always has a higher message and meaning for us. So I saw the tarantula, everybody's favorite symbol. I actually don't mind spiders. I've talked about this before when we're looking at any sort of animal totem, because they represent power. They are smart, intelligent, cunning, and they have a way of getting what they want. So it's a good symbol, folks, to come through. And a tarantula is a little different than other types of spiders. We're also going to talk about Judgment and Ace of Pentacles because, again, for everybody, but especially those celebrating a holiday, these are very cool energies for spring and for Easter. All right, so first things first, the tarantula. It's actually very closely connected to the wise hermit because, unlike a traditional spider, it doesn't kind of sit on a web. It has the ability to spin silk, and it creates, like, sometimes a little trapdoor or a little kind of alcove, but it's much more like a hermit. What it relies on instead of a web is its ability to pounce on its prey, and then it uses venom with its fangs. So timing's everything. And in this period of time, if you're not ready to move forward, that necessity will come soon, so do your homework, get prepared. And that's what intuition basically allows us to do. You can't stop. I believe we can affect outcomes. There are certain milestones that, we have set for ourselves. Sometimes you can't control other people's decisions or bigger things that are happening, like if a company's going out of business or something like that. You can control your reaction, and you can control how prepared you are for things like that. There's always a level of control. And you bet your bottom dollar that the hermit is figuring out, what can I do about this? I may not be able to change this, but maybe I can do something about that and that and that. So if you're not ready to act, do the homework right now. It's going to help you out. And then once you have all of that together, you have a much better chance of getting what you want because you've done your homework, you have all of these facts, and people are going to listen. You'll be like the hermit. And you have the sort of, what's the best word, strategy and timing of the tarantula. This is also a time to sink your teeth in. So we'll use the fangs as a metaphor for you basically saying, I really dig what it is that I'm doing. And if you don't feel that sense of passion and that sort of inner flame, then this is time for, and it's very connected to the daily card read today, by the way. I had a cool, I don't use this deck in live readings because there's no numbers on it. And a lot of times I have to count how many wands, and you don't want me doing that. So we have the 7 of Wands here. Beautiful deck. I love the Dali deck, but 0 numbers. You have to memorize everything, and I just don't use this deck often enough. But long story short, in the corner, we have this little flame, and that flame is saying, what are you doing to take care of yourself? What are you doing to charge your own inner battery? So sometimes it can be this: reading, researching, doing some sort of a hobby or project on your own. This is the perfect time to do it. And today is a great day if we pull together this weekly collective and my daily card pull. Commit, go all in, basically. You'll get a lot out of that. Think way bigger. Now we're going to just move to 2 cards that I was inspired to just talk about today while meditating. The first is one of my favorite, which is Judgment. Judgment is one of my favorites because it shows that there's no true end. I saw someone in one of my recent posts saying like, I don't understand reincarnation, or it's a much deeper dive. And I will cover that in my podcast. I'm going to try to find some folks that have had NDEs and people that connect to the Akashic records and things like that. And then just talk about people who can remember past lives. But long story short, and whether you subscribe to it or not, this is my take on it. We basically have a lot of chances to learn. And every time we come to the planet, it's basically classes in session. And you get to do as much as you can in each of these lifetimes and classes, if you will. And then you graduate and you try again. You go up to the next level. It's about leveling up, hopefully. So you don't have to leave the planet or leave your body to level up. And the reason I like Judgment is we can all be reborn or have a envisioned sort of version of ourselves without having to change this body. We just have to change our mind and change our heart. And that's what today offers all of us, irrespective of how young or how old or what religion or what part of the world you're living in. We all have the ability every day to hit the reset button. And the Judgment card is a reminder of that. Leave judgment of others and yourself at the curb. That's not for you. That's for source energy, whatever you call it. Sometimes we call it God, but we're a part of that source. So we don't have any more right to judge someone else than to judge ourselves. We just have to do the best that we can, right? Because everyone's connected to the same divinity. If we could believe this, it would be a happier world, because there's a lot of judgment going on right now. And so that's one piece of advice I have, is just let it go, leave it at the curb, show a little bit more love, and show a little bit more sort of investment in what you can do with your life today. That's where the power is, okay? If you're feeling stuck, today is the day to just release that and get rid of the thought, like, I can't, I won't, it isn't. Just think, how about this? Be like the tarantula/hermit and think, all right, let's go back to the drawing board. What can I do? Where can I make the difference? Where can I make the impact? Live and let live, and plant a new seed, because just recently when I was pulling the one card reading, I think for Friday, I noticed that there are, and I have my lily outside now, but Easter lilies on this card. And so of course I looked that up as a totem too. So this particular type of lily, Lilium longiflorum, naturally blooms in June or July. It's forced to bloom right now for Easter. But that means you have two windows of opportunity. One right now to either finish something or start something, and it's right before retrograde, so it's perfect. And then another one in June and July. So this is perfect. Basically, there's an imminence to that symbol and to this holiday, and that's why I also brought the lily out there. We have two windows of opportunity for us to do some cool stuff. I had to put it outside because they smell so fragrant. I even tried taking off the little pollen things and it didn't work. I'm like, okay, we're gonna put it outside, it'll thrive, and hopefully it'll grow next year too, because I put it in a big pot. Anyway, welcome everybody, good to see you. We're gonna dig straight into the 7-day forecast. The 7-day forecast is gonna take us across the next week, and basically we'll look at, we'll start with the energy of today and move to next Sunday. What you can do if you subscribe to my channel, which I hope you do if you haven't already, is you can also look at my daily card reads, and that'll give you a little bit more fine tuning. These are complementary. So this is basically like watching the weather forecast on the weekend, and then some things change from day to day, so you can kind of use the two together to fine tune. And that's why I do the combination of the two. All right, let's get into the forecast, folks. 7 days, let's see what's coming through for you. Welcome everybody. This is general for all that are present. We'll do an elemental forecast after this. All right, some interesting cards. This is going to be a week where it looks like the midpoint is where some powerful changes start to happen. I'll help you through Monday. Let's take a day at a time and go from there. All right, let me just get the day markers here. We're gonna start with today, Sunday. You're sitting in a pretty good energy today. We have the King of Wands coming through, reminding you that you have the power, the potential, and the wherewithal to make things happen. The King of Wands is basically emboldened and unafraid to step forward and say, hey, this is what I think about this, or do you want to do this? Or maybe just basically start moving forward on something, and then you can talk to someone else later and ask permission or get all the approvals. This is about making a move. So today is a day to make that bold move and to really start to develop personal development and idea development. You don't have to talk about everything. Sometimes we can talk things to oblivion with, just everything. So the King of Wands is like, yeah, I just showed you. It's right here. So while other people are talking and planning and stressing, and the King of Wands is just doing and surprising people because they're 2 or 3 steps ahead of everyone else. So today is a great day to get some stuff done. And if you do anything social, this is a really charismatic card because it's fiery energy. There's a lot of charisma. I would say, again, it's not all about talking. It's just about showing up, having a good time, smiling, turning on your charm. It is a good day if you want to have, very few people are working today, but if you are working, it's a good day for a meeting, but a great day for social engagements, especially for those of you that might be out celebrating with friends or family. It's a really nice card for that. And then when you get back home, don't be afraid to do a little bit of planning for the week ahead, especially Monday, which we're going to look at in just a moment. I love that we see like a little salamander, gecko, or lizard in the background. One of the interesting things with that is the ability to, again, I think it's going to help you on Monday, to escape or to get out of a situation that's tricky. Certain types of lizards, salamanders, etc., they can lose their tail if they need to and move on. So there may be a need to cut losses, and that's really what we're going to look at next when we go to the energy of Monday. So we have the Devil card coming through. This is about releasing contracts, releasing any sort of restrictive ways of thinking or working. And if there's someone in your life that basically says, I'm not right for this, or you shouldn't do this, and they're showing their true colors, let them show their true colors. It took me a long time in life to recognize that it's not always a lack of confidence when someone says something like, imagine that they're saying this to you, I'm too good for you. You don't have to talk them out of that. If you are head over heels for them, but they don't feel worthy of you, that's a big, that's sort of like a big epiphany. It's like, well, maybe I can do better. Why am I focusing on someone who doesn't value themselves? That's not going to work in the long run. If someone's asking too much of you and not giving enough in return, this can be work. This can also be relationships, constantly expecting you to put it all out there, but not really putting their same energy or returning on your energy. Then it's time to say, this isn't enough. So you are either holding up the mirror and letting people see how something feels, or someone else might be showing you a sort of glance on the inside, and motives are coming out basically on Monday. So this is going to help you plan and release. That's really what this day is about. See what isn't serving you, let it go. Plan for something else. Get your plan B together as well. Plan B, plan C together. And just start to, for some of you, go back to the drawing board. The main thing for most of us, let's imagine that your life is hunky-dory. There's not a lot of things going wrong. This is basically about what I was talking about with judgment. Don't feel that you have to judge yourself or others. Just go with the flow and allow for the universe to show you where the limits exist. Sometimes there are no limits and we impose them on ourselves. And this is just about thinking in a bigger, brighter way. Okay? Could be a Capricorn coming into your life, but I definitely wanted to hit on some of the challenging aspects of the Devil as well. Okay? And here's an interesting sidebar. The Devil typically comes through when we are on the precipice of a breakthrough. And it's because the Devil doesn't like that. Metaphorically speaking, that energy wants to anchor you and hold you down. So it's trying to distract. Notice how the Lovers, well, and it really is, this is the lower version of the Lovers, but the couple on this card, they're just, usually they face us, but now they're facing him. So they're distracted. And one of the things here is not to get distracted, to look around you. They should be looking at each other, not whatever that is. So there could be a third party or distraction that's entering in that does not need to be there. Okay, let's focus on the next piece. Tuesday's looking pretty awesome. This is a day just to get back to work, back to business. So we have the Five of Wands, which is one of the quintessential working cards. It's not a lot of fun sometimes, but it is a card where you can get some work done. Here's a challenge on this one. It's about being cooperative and collaborative, not competitive. And when we look here, there's a lot of people that are trying to show who's stronger, trying to sometimes show off a little bit. And this is basically saying, let the egos go. There may be a need for leadership. Maybe there's a place where you are living, working, or volunteering where that kind of competition is encouraged. They like the crossfire and the fighting and then all of that. Is that really for you? I don't know. You can look at that and think, is there a way we can kind of all come together, even if this is a sort of, behavior that's encouraged? Leadership, cooperation, leading by example, or maybe just going off on your own and getting some work done. Try not to get into that sort of energy of trying to show off or trying to push someone else to do something. It's a pushy card. The 5 and the 7 of Wands are pushy, and we want to kind of get out of that. You can get a lot of work done though with the 5 of Wands, and that's what I would focus on. Okay. Then if you do that, midweek is looking pretty darn good. Okay. We have the 10 of Wands. This is finishing it up. So if you avoid the distraction here, you get to work here and partner up with someone that you can, focus on working with, then it's all going to pay off, folks. Okay. So as we go to the midweek here, we have the 10 of Wands. You're letting something go. The 10 of Wands can also indicate, for some of you, that might just be, it can be an emotional burden and you feel like you're carrying the weight of the world on your back. You could also be having a little bit of a adjustment that you need to make in your back. It can just be about, again, not feeling forced, pushed, or rushed into something. And again, not doing that for others. So basically just focusing on getting to the finish line and moving on to the next thing. You've worked hard to get to this moment too. Take a step back and just really sort of like let it all sink in. Wherever you're at, celebrate the progress, celebrate the wisdom, and then finish what you set out to finish, okay? This is also a card for some of you of overdue travel, and maybe it is about dragging your feet on something and saying, all right, when am I really gonna do this? When am I gonna clean the kitchen? When am I going to finish the report? When am I going to make that phone call? Wednesday looks like a good day to finish it so that you can move on, and that's not sort of like keeping you tied down or tethered. And then you've earned a break. So on Thursday here we have the 4 of Swords, and it's upright, which portends rest and good things. So I would say prioritize self-care for sure on Thursday. Take a break. We see her having a little bit of trouble trying to get to sleep. So in order to get to that resting state, you may need to talk things out with a friend or a counselor. You might need to pull a few things off of your schedule, because many of you did sort of like burn the candle at both ends. If you've ever taken a long vacation, or if you've kind of been a workaholic and then taken a vacation, the first day or two in or out of that period it's like adjustment. So if you're used to getting up every day at a certain time, when you're on vacation, you're probably still going to wake up at the same time. Or if you've been going to school's out, and you're still in that sort of system. And then for those of you that have had a break and you're trying to come back, it's like, why am I doing this? This is hard. And you have to get yourself back into the schedule. So that's, I think that Thursday is the adjustment day. You're not quite in or out of whatever it was that you were transitioning from. So give yourself some space and realize that it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. Okay. This is also saying, I need to sleep on something. So if there's a big decision, you don't have the information you need yet, or your heart and head is in the right place yet, you could just say, I need to do some research. I need to sort this out. I'm not sure yet. Give me a day. Or if someone asks you a hard question and you need to get some information, you can say, great question. Can I get back to you tomorrow? Can I get back to you later? Give me a few hours to just sort of like sit with this, and then I'll give you my 2 cents worth. We don't always have that opportunity, but with the card upright, it feels like you might be able to create it. So why not go for it if you can? All right. As we look at the end of the week here, it's an opportunity, a blessing in disguise. Maybe for some of you, a chance to shift your perspective. 4 of Cups is not necessarily good or bad. It's somewhere in between. I always like to look at it as this. If you were just to look at it this, it would be an Ace of Cups. And she's like, oh, I didn't expect that, or I don't know if I want it. If we look at her t-shirt, she actually has over it on her t-shirt. She's so disengaged with something that she's missing either why that's happening or that someone or something else wants to come in. So the challenge will be not letting yourself sort of get pulled into that I'm over it energy, and to see the potential. And I just rewound to make sure that I'm seeing it correctly, and it was reversed. So for many of you, it's just about looking at it from a different perspective and saying, yeah, I'm over it, but I still need to finish this. There could be a person that's also trying to get your attention. This could be someone that wants to help you. This could be like saying, hey, pay attention to this. So there's someone on the sidelines cheering you on or giving you information. There could also be someone that's a little bit shy and a little afraid to flirt and is also interested in you. Four of Cups is you're missing something bigger. So slow down, take a deep breath, and get some perspective. And I think that'll help you out. All right, let's go to next weekend. As we're looking at next Saturday, we have decision time, basically, Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups reverse, which is basically a need to be a little bit more decisive. So as we do that, here's what I would say first. You have plenty of time during the week to do the research, to do the homework, and that's what this is about. I was listening to, I'm trying to think, I think it was musicians talking about this, but they said, I can't remember who it was, it doesn't matter. But it's important for you to be able to, actually it was two actors. They were talking about the need to not judge each other for bad ideas, but for good ideas. So that you could basically throw pasta on the wall, you can put things up on a whiteboard and say, all right, I know some of these are not the best. I know that there might be a few gems in there. Let's just get it all out and then look at it. And then let's find the gems and then let's celebrate the gems rather than ridiculing the things that don't make sense. So do that for yourself. Explore everything. Give yourself a chance to think, what about this? What about this? Nothing silly, because it's all going to lead me to, the epiphany. And so this week leading up to Saturday, give yourself plenty of room to explore all of the options, especially on Monday when you're limiting thoughts. Go in the opposite direction and expand your thoughts. You'll have plenty of time by the time you get to Saturday to be more specific. So I think what you should do throughout the week is just explore. And then by the time you get to Saturday, then think, all right, which one do I just feel most connected to? All right, let's take that one and see where that leads me. All right, so research, develop, explore throughout the week. Saturday, especially if you kind of like sit with it on this, Thursday, then you're going to be able to kind of make a decision, all right? Some of you might be having a hard time getting over somebody. This can be persistent thoughts about someone in your life. Maybe they said something and it's just kind of like echoing and ricocheting around your head. Maybe someone's broken up, passed away, moved on, and you're still stuck in the past. And this is a chance for you to sort of talk it out, find another way to sort of channel it out so that you can move forward. And I like to just compare it to television or, like Netflix. If you don't like what you're watching, watch something else. Talk to someone else, do something else, change the energetic focus, the lens within, and that's going to be the key. All right. Finally, as we look at next Sunday, we have the Eight of Swords. I don't know this is what today's about. What are we calling in on the horizon? This is like fog, basically, and you're having a hard time seeing through the fog. Sometimes the lack of clarity, the lack of guarantees can be scary. The way that you can get through the Eight of Swords is by the High Priestess, the Magician, the Hermit, and the Star. Basically say, all right, there may be no light. I'm going to bring the light, the Hermit. People may not be expecting me to be bold, so I'm going to be bold, the Star. There's nothing in front of me, so I'm going to go within, both the Magician and the High Priestess. Or I'm going to create it, I don't see it, the Magician. Or the Three of Pentacles, I'm going to be the architect and build this. So just use your other tools and get past the fact that nothing's in front of you. There's a line from the Neverending Story. It's always dark in the beginning, or it's all, that story is kind of cool because he has to make a wish on one grain of sand to restart the whole Neverending Story. So that's kind of like go back to Judgment. It's all potential. What are you going to do with the potential? Any of the aces. Sometimes we overlook the potential. Sometimes we just do nothing. It's there. It's an idea. It's a thought. So with the Eight of Swords, just move in any direction. It's better than sitting there and thinking, I'm afraid because I can't see it. You can ask questions, you can go within, you can research, you can change the focus to something that you do have information on. That's what I would advise for that period of time. All right. This is an interesting week. So let's do the highlights and lowlights, if you will, or opportunities and challenges. Today is one of the best days, bar none. So whatever you can get done today, get it done. It's a great time. I think the other opportunity day would be Wednesday. This is a chance to finish up. So you set the intention now, you have it completed by midweek. There's an opportunity in disguise on Friday. Keep an open heart and an open mind. Those are your biggest days for movement. The biggest challenge, without a doubt, would be Monday. So for some of you, it's just a challenge of getting over, I can't, I won't, it doesn't, it never. Like, take those words and those thoughts out. It's about stepping away from someone who doesn't give what you give. It's about listening to someone when they say that they're not good enough for you. Or trusting your gut when you think, I don't want to do it. Everyone's pressuring me to do it, but I don't want to do it. Trust that. So I think that's the most challenging day. Everything else is okay. This would maybe be the second most a week from today. We'll be together on that one so we can look at this. But I would say all the tools that I gave you just a few moments ago will hold true for that. The rest of the day, the rest of the weeks, or days in the week, I should say, are pretty manageable. All right. We are now going to go into something special, which is an elemental forecast. And this is the only portion of today that's going to be specific to signs. And I grouped them by the 4 elements. So let me go to a different deck for this. Okay, let's take a look, folks, and see what's coming through. And we'll focus on how each of the elements can thrive in the week ahead. Okay, so we'll look at fire, earth, air, and water. All right, one by one, let's look at these. So starting first with Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, all my fire signs. Movement, we have the 6 of Swords. This particular movement card, let me just take the graphic off for a second. It almost looks like he's packing his bags, or maybe he's looking at a laptop, or very engaged with what's in front of him. So there's this chance to make movement happen in a way that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to travel. So movement can be a movement of a thought and an idea. It can be movement through electronic means. So again, sending something off for consideration, reaching out to someone. 6 of Swords nowadays doesn't always require getting in a ship, a plane, or a train, or anything like that. So move it forward through some sort of possibly a digital means, or basically just move it here or here, because once your head and heart are aligned, then everything else starts to move around with it as well. There may be travel this week for many of you, so take care of yourself during that travel. And I think as we look at the fact that usually the 6 of Swords is in water, even though it's air. So I like how light this card is. We kind of see him on a puff of a cloud there. So the movement forward could be easier than you think. It doesn't require pushing against the water. It doesn't require someone with the oars moving it. You don't have to travel with a lot of baggage. It's just like one bag there. So travel lightly and expect the movement to be a lot easier than the traditional 6 of Swords would indicate. A lot of times we project and carry with us the baggage, and this one is pretty unencumbered. This is one of 4 or so death and release cards. We had one coming through on Thursday, the 4 of Swords. For you, I see the change in movement happening a little faster. This is faster than the 4 of Swords by a long shot. So by the end of the week, you should be in a different place than when you started the week, and that's exciting. So a lot of movement, an encouragement not to overthink how hard something might be, and travel lightly. And those are my messages for the fire signs. Moving on from fire to earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Another card of travel, and this is a card of second chances. This could be someone coming back from the past. This can also be you deciding, I need a break. I need some perspective. I'm going to take the afternoon off. I'm going to take an hour to myself. I'm going to take longer than that if I need to. Before saying no, before completely letting something go, give yourself a break. get some perspective, and decide maybe how you're going to go about it. This is also leaving the door half open. So for some of you that are deciding to go in a different direction, people may appreciate you so much that they're like, are you sure? Or would you ever consider coming back? Or yeah, you have a lot of options here to sort of, I'm double checking here as on the replay. That one was also reversed. So when for some of you, this is actually someone checking in with you after you've left or after you've said goodbye. So maybe you quit a job, you broke up with someone, or you haven't talked to someone for like a decade or something, and they're checking in to see, are we still, what are we? So one of the things that you can decide is where you stand with certain people and certain paths. And there are moments where it's really, really clear and you state it, and then there are sort of like gentle drifting away that we can all kind of go through. And this card will come back to sometimes ask you to make more of a, like someone's just not sure, where do we stand? Where are we going? Particularly in a relationship. I will say this, if you're not interested, if you're done with something, say it. So that you're not, because what you could also be doing is leaving a lot of cords and energy behind, and it might be time to move on. So it's a little bit of decision time, but what I like about this is there's a lot of options, and you get to decide at the end of the day what you want to do with this. Ultimately, this is a really good card, and it gives you a chance, as you get that perspective, to feel really good about the direction that you're headed in, okay? All right, moving on from my Earth to my air signs. This is for Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. We have love, opportunity, some heavier emotions for some of you also coming through. I love the little crab that he's carrying there. So there could be a Cancer sign that's coming into your life as well. But what I see whenever I see King of Cups, not Knight. Whenever I see King of Cups in reverse, what I would say here, just like the Knight, is sometimes we have to take a step to the side or a step backward in order to clear our mind, clear our heart, clear our schedule, so that we are basically having a firmer foundation. So for some of you, you need to get something off your chest, off your shoulders, off your mind. Do that first. Do it earlier. Possibly do it. I don't know if I would do it on Monday, but Monday's the day you're sorting out, why do I feel the way that I feel? And then I feel like by the midweek, once you get to Wednesday, you're ready to let it go. So emotionally clear the cobwebs. And then there could be unexpected love coming through for you, because we have these two cards which are pretty compatible. Someone's sending out that cups, and in this case, it's like, okay, I'll take that cup then. So there's just a decision. Do I want this opportunity? Am I interested in this person? Do I want to go for that thing over there? So a little bit of decision time for you as well. But creatively, intuitively, and passionately, everything seems to be lighting up for all of my air signs. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your heart, I would say too, and make sure that you are where you need to be. A lot of times, all the air signs can, because you're good at communicating, because people like talking to you, a lot of times, sort of like you become the trash person dealing with their stuff, and it's like, ugh, not today. And that's what you can just say is like, I'm sorry, I can't meet today. Let's do it tomorrow, or let's do it on the weekend. I've got a lot going on. You're allowed to say that. You don't have to be the therapist for everybody. And in fact, I said that with the Seven of Wands today. You don't have to be someone else's battery. Focus on recharging first. You can only do that if you're at full charge, and only occasionally, not all the time, okay? Think of it less as being their battery, more giving them a jump start. That's enough. And then you take the cord out, right? Otherwise, if we were to do that, you would drain the other battery. And so think of yourself in that same light. You can give someone a little jump start, but you can't keep the cord connected. So emotionally allow yourself to kind of like rise up, and then do something fun, do something exciting this week. You are pretty engaging with the King of Cups. It's one of the best cards that you can pull. There could be a really amazing person coming into your life. You want to be ready for that. Finally, my water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Pretty good. We got the Page here. Page of Swords coming through. A transformative butterfly on this card as well. Pages are outspoken. Pages are open. Good listening ability coming through as well. So off the charts, it kind of feels like you and the air signs flipped roles this week. But you're being able now to sort of say, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let me take some action on that. And maybe finding your voice more than you have before. Good for you. This is your chance to see some traction, some movement, and to make the most of it. It's a great time for writing things down. That's a way of manifestation, because when you write it, when you speak it, when you think it, you start to breathe it into reality. So definitely do that if you need to. This can be about revising or creating contracts. For some of you, maybe even putting things down into a curriculum or something of that nature. Good week for just about everyone. So don't worry so much when we get a card like this. As a reader, I'm sure I'm not alone with that. I'm actually okay with seeing cards like the Devil, the Ten of Swords, or the Tower. That shows me like, oh, I can definitely tell someone that that's a day to focus on, and I can help them with that. So yeah, just take it easy tomorrow and take care of yourself, and you'll be all right, folks, okay? That's why we're here. All right, so I'm going to shuffle up all the cards here now, and we're going to get into the special topic today. And the special topic, which you chose for me, is the horizon. What are you calling in? So this is a chance to check progress and to make adjustments as needed. Give me a chance here to figure out which deck I want to use. I think I'm going to use True Heart Intuitive. Okay. All right, folks. Let's get started. By the way, if you like what you see here, do me a favor, follow me on social media. Give me a like and subscribe as well. Thanks in advance to everybody that gave us super. I appreciate that. All right, let's get started, folks, and see what's coming through on the horizon. What are you calling in? Is there anything you should do to adjust what you're doing? Is there a hidden opportunity where you're not taking advantage of it? Let's see, folks. There's a lot of people in this spread here. We'll talk about that. You definitely have the potential, and another Four of Cups, very interesting. You definitely have the potential to be seen and to be heard this week, and that's a good thing. It's always a good thing. We have a volunteer. I can see it already. Ah, the snail, my favorite symbol for the Nine of Pentacles. All right. Yeah, as someone said here, if you don't mind, if you're liking what I'm doing while I'm shuffling the cards, do me a favor, put a like out there. It does help. Leave a comment when this is on replay and share it. That's the way this channel grows, and I can do more cool videos, so thanks for the community. Okay, let's get going. We're going to start with the catalyst message first. What is a catalyst, you might ask? Well, the catalyst is what basically creates action and also keeps that energy moving. And we have the snail in reverse, like it matters when it's a sort of totem. But it's basically saying don't rush. So the snail is one of my favorite little details in the cards. I'm super detail oriented when it comes to the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. Like I look at all the little corners of the cards. You see new things every time. Nine of Pentacles, you'll see a snail right by her feet. What was something that I saw recently in the Five of Swords? You see people talking in the background and basically they're distracted. And that's how, or Seven of Swords rather. You see these problems happening sometimes. It's like, well, if they would stop focusing on that, they would see this person doing this. And so it's always cool to look at the details. Slow and steady wins the race is what the snail tells us. And that it's worth the ride. It's worth all of this work that you've gotten, that you've started to do to get to this point. This is the cutest snail. This is a somewhat new deck. And so I haven't seen this before, but yeah, take your time, soak it in. The other thing that a snail is good at is really absorbing things. So this is a time to read something, watch something, listen to someone on a podcast. You have this ability to kind of like absorb like a sponge, and really the retention is there and it's not always there. So I'm getting a lot with learning, and then that's going to help you. Eight of Pentacles, which is apprenticeship leads to abundance, which is the Nine of Pentacles. So it's interesting that those two follow each other. It is a good time for learning, okay? All right, let's take a look at your spread here. Let's look and see, you know what the good news is when I'm looking at this is now we don't really have devil energy. We don't have Ten of Swords energy, no Tower energy. By and large, it seems like many of you are doing a good job at this moment in time. I'll get straight to the point. What are you calling in? A hidden opportunity. We talked about this. For some of you, it's happening sooner than later because this was at the end of the week, right? Wasn't this Friday? You have to just be able to see it from a different perspective. We see the sort of veneer or the curtain being pulled back here. And through your own communication, Magician in the environment, Queen of Swords in the near future, Four of Cups in the outcome. A surprising yet beneficial outcome. And we'll get more into it in a second, but you're calling in an opportunity. The timing, the structure, something about it is unconventional or unexpected, but that's probably what's going to make it perfect and make it work. Let's look at your centermost cards. So the biggest opportunity in this moment is to trust in your leadership ability. So we have the Chariot square in the center, and the Chariot is one of the ultimate cards for basically being organized and being a leader. But for some of you, you have a lot of moving parts. So the difference between, for instance, the Chariot and the Emperor is the Emperor can just sit back and tell other people to do it. The Chariot, this is entrepreneurial. This is something I can relate to. So the Chariot has to show up on stage, you know, out in the world doing stuff. Then they have to go behind the scenes and do a lot of stuff. Then they have to sit and think about things. So you're wearing a lot of hats. Take care of yourself, delegate when you can, and people are looking to you for clarity. So I think the most important thing that you can do for yourself right now is to get clear on the direction. Because a Chariot that has poor maintenance, one of those wheels is going to come off and it's not going to go anywhere. A Chariot where the driver or whatever's carrying the Chariot, they're not aligned. Well, with bad GPS, bad direction, or a lack of direction in general, it's just not going to go anywhere. So take care of yourself, maintenance, and figure out where you're going. Planning, mapping, Two of Wands energy. And then you're going to be an empowered Chariot. But you're in an interesting point in your life where you're going to do a kind of like volleying back and forth between leadership and doing. It's an exciting sort of energy to be in, but it can also be an exhausting one. Take care of yourself. Remember the Four of Swords energy that came up in the week, and get rest when you can get rest, okay? Crossing that card is community and support. Ten of Cups. This could be love. This could be friends. This could be your community that you're attracting, your customers if you're in business. But the good news here is you might be so busy that you don't realize that this is happening. So all you have to do is be present for a moment. It's like, hey, there's people waving on the sidelines that want to be a part of this. So this is, think of like a procession where there's, you know, a celebrity or an important person and they're driving through on their motorcade. They can't always see this. Take time, get out, look at the surroundings a little bit, ask for help. There's potential here for friendship, love, and partnership, but you're busy, you're working a lot. Take some time, all right? On this particular card, there's a phoenix. If you look really close, I told you I love detail. So we can see that phoenix right on the front of the Chariot. So you have a chance to reinvent or rethink the way that you're working. Sometimes you just have to ask or set that in motion. But this is also a new day dawning here. You can see all of those cups coming out of the sun. Every day gives you an opportunity to reset and to possibly meet someone new on your path. So get out there. This is a time over the next week or so to engage in more sort of extracurricular or social activities. Well, hello, we've got the Queen of Wands here in the deep past. Great card for being boss energy. Great card for today. Nice partnership. You might be able to find your counterpart out there. I always love these sort of multitasking energy as we look at the supernatural, multi-armed sort of deity energy that she has there. Today, you're going to be asked to multitask a little bit, maybe be in more than one place at once. Remember, you can't be everything for everyone. You can't make everyone happy. And you really at the end of the day, just need to make sure that you're satisfied with your traction and what you're putting out in the world. As long as that's happening, folks, you're where you need to be, okay? Don't overextend. The Queen of Wands is pretty magical. She's pretty amazing, but we're all still human. And she's reminding you of that. So take care of yourself, all right? I love all of the fiery energy that came through when I was looking at these cards so much. And I felt like I was like, I need to wear something bright today. So I wore some yellow. I was wearing it yesterday too. I just feel like I wanted bright colors. And we can see that here in the center. So there's a lot of fire, a lot of energy, a lot of power that wants to move through you right now. Embrace that. Here's what's coming through recent past or like right now that you need to sort out. There's a couple things. I always like to read the first card as what's in front of you here. So a lot of you are focusing, how appropriate is this that this is coming in traditionally in the US when we're dealing with taxes? Some states have extensions and whatnot, but this is a time when many people are focusing on money. And we just got through the first quarter of the year. So a lot of people are planning for Q2, for financials and all of that. So yeah, it makes sense. You're focusing on budget. Do I have what I need? Do I need to redirect? Makes sense. This is also saying some of you might have started a new endeavor, a new job, a new project, or you're feeling like things are starting to move faster. They are. What can you do about it? We have the Queen of Cups in reverse. I like the synchronicities that we see here. It's making sense. This came through, I think, for my air signs, right? But everybody in particular, unload the emotional baggage and do it before you deal with this. Don't make a financial decision when you are emotionally charged. I always want you to be passionate about what you do, but I never really would encourage you to make a decision when you're in the throes of grief, when you're like over your head's euphoric, or when you are depressed. You need to be somewhere closer to the middle. You know, the middle is a goal that we all go for, but we're usually a little above, a little below. But get a little closer to the center if you can. And if you are in one of those peaks or valleys, reach out. You have support. And reach out for advice too. Standard disclaimers always apply on this. Like, reach out to the appropriate professional, whether it's financial, medical, or otherwise, and you're going to get that support that you need. Okay. So the main thing is opportunities knocking, but the heart needs a little bit of love and work. Let the emotional stuff go, get the help and support that you need, and then you can get back to work and make the most of the opportunities that are awaiting you. So not surprisingly, sometimes we have to deal with, this is what we were seeing even with this. You're dealing with a few things at once. You're processing a few things at once. And that's, when it rains, it pours. When it shines, it really shines too sometimes. Like 2 or 3 opportunities can be coming through. And that's what this is saying. It could be a bevy of good news. You could have just met someone, you just got a new job, you're moving, or there's a baby on the way. And like, it's all these things that you're juggling. And you're like, I'm blessed, but I'm also a little overwhelmed. So you can be blessed and overwhelmed. You can be really frustrated and overwhelmed, but don't miss the opportunity. Take care of the emotional side so you can take the wheel, because this reminds me of a ship, or take the reins and move forward, because you have the power and the wherewithal, but this needs a little bit of work, and maybe this as well. Okay? You have the power. This is what we see here. And it reminds me of that old He-Man thing, or She-Ra. But both of them, they had to sort of like claim their power. That's what was kind of interesting about that old cartoon. So you do have the potential, you do have the power and the energy to make it happen. But much like our heroes and heroines, sometimes they have to proclaim it. So are you willing and ready to step into your power? That's really what the Emperor card is saying. Many of you can see the potential, many of you can feel it, but you have to own it. And that's the key thing here. I'm just looking at the bottom of this. It's basically like a skyline here. So this is about you sort of standing out and leading the crowd and leading the charge. So the Chariot and the Emperor, both of them require leadership and direction. We're not all as comfortable doing that as everyone else. So let me just put it this way. You have what it takes to make this decision, this turn, or this next step in your life. Doesn't mean you always have to be in the leadership role, but there's a little moment here where your voice or decision matters a lot. So trust yourself, even if that's not your normal role or position. It's a nice cameo if that's all you want it to be. It could be much more if that's something that you're interested in, but you've got what it takes. Now we have your voice coming through. So what you're calling in is a chance for people are going to want to hear what you have to say. You're going to have a chance to take some action, to make a difference here. Queen of Swords needs all of this stuff that we just talked about to be able to make sure that she's not sort of just ambling around. Because she's no nonsense. Like, next to Justice, maybe, this is one of the most decisive cards. She always means business when you look at her, right? I think in the traditional one, she even kind of holds that sword like this. Like, do I need to use do I need to use my communication? Do I need to show my power? She always yields it with, or wields it with that sense of clarity, and also a little warning. Like, she trusts that she has the power to do this. So, but she needs to be clear on things. It's interesting that she has like this, what do you call, I want to call it a flock, but it's not, a swarm. She has like this swarm of butterflies around her head. So I think some of you are in that Seven of Cups energy. It's like, I want to change this. I want to do that. I want to do this. There's a lot of stuff going around in this Queen of Swords head. So one thing that I think that you could focus on is what is calling, again, to me, the loudest, or where can I make the best impact, impression, or the most difference? Because otherwise, it's just a swarm of thoughts. And that's the one thing that could hold you back. I can even see challenges in upright cards, and I was like, that's a lot of butterflies. So we don't need that much change at once. Pick one thing at a time and really make sure that because I see both of the queens want to do a lot of things. She wants to have her hands in a lot of things at once, and she's got her head in a lot of directions at once. So you could be putting the carriage before the horse or something, or yeah, right? So make sure that you're not sort of stepping too quickly. That's why the snail came through. Now it's making sense. We have to kind of work our way through the story of the cards to understand that. And the snail's saying, slow down a second. You've got this, but try not to make it harder than you need to, okay? I really like this snail. Sidebar, he's fun. All right, let's take a look at how you're showing up. I love all of isn't this cool? Like, again, we're reading it on Easter. It's spring for many of us, even if it's autumn. So we're right in this change period, and we've got nothing but abundant energy with all, like, 3 queens, basically. No, we got them all. We got them all. 4 queens. I don't know the last time that happened, to tell you the truth. It's been several years. I read a lot. Usually I don't get all 4 kings or all 4 queens. It's probably happened in the last 8.5 years. But I can't remember the last time. So you got 4 queens today. And that's pretty amazing. And you're the Queen of Pentacles. So by the way, all elements are represented. All of you have the potential to move the needle forward. Okay? So chew on that for a second. And now let's talk about this for you. So we've got the Queen of Pentacles, and she's nicely connected to the Easter energy today because we have the rabbit representing fertility and abundance, which is really what the rabbit represents today, by the way. It's an old pagan symbol, but it's showing this ability for abundance and rapid movement to happen. She's a little bit more comfortable in taking her time. She's on her throne. She wants to kind of like not necessarily get out there in the world, but the rabbit is contrasting energy in this card. And when the card is reversed, here's what's coming through. It's saying you are being asked to kind of put yourself in the throes of the work, not sit back and wait for everything to happen and be perfect. There are moments where it's like, I need to roll up my sleeves and I need to get busy on this, or things are going to happen a little bit faster. I'm not saying to like rush, but there is some action that's needed. So you're going to find the happy medium between the snail and the Queen of Pentacles reversed, or I should say maybe like the rabbit on this. This is a chance for you to really own your power, to see some abundance and growth happening, and then to let something go. Second only to the Empress, this is one of the most powerful symbols for fertility and abundance. Usually there's a pregnant belly, not always, but that rabbit and that Ace of Pentacles is representing something that is overdue to be released, especially with the card in reverse. So there is some imminent energy here when it's like, when should you get started? Get started now. It doesn't mean you have to finish now, but get started now. And it does mean, just like I roll up my sleeves, let's get some work done. Maybe you feel like taking a nap or doing something else, but just do a little bit of work before that, and then you're going to really be able to relax and enjoy. All right. By the way, in reverse, this card is saying, I need this. So if you're not getting enough support in some area or enough resources, time, energy, or money, speak up and say, I need your support here. Can I count on you? Reach out to this network, okay? For some reason you need to hear from me, you can do it. You can do it. The magician is capable, but in reverse, it doubts itself. Let's look at this magician upright for a moment. We have all elements represented twice today because at her table here, the magician, she has all 4 elements, and we have all 4 queens coming through. All she needs to do is to focus. She's waiting for the planets and the stars to align. We have the inconvenient Mercury retrograde coming through in the next couple weeks. But I like to remind folks that we have to sometimes move even when there's some inconvenient planetary alignments. All you have to do in that period of time is to weigh your communication, have a backup plan, allow for a little bit more time when traveling. If you're going to sign a contract, definitely look at it a couple of times. Just go, guess what, a little bit slower. We're in the pre-shadow right now, so you still have some time to get stuff done. But this card is saying, just focus, don't get distracted, and believe in yourself. When the card is upright, it's focused, it's empowered, and it believes in the magic. When the card is reversed, it tries to do too much, throwing the kitchen sink in. It gets distracted, or it doubts its ability to manifest. Can't always control the planets, but you can control how you react to the planets. And that's why we read, and that's why we show up, and that's all you have to do. So stay focused. There could be someone around you that is a little bit tricky. Whenever we have the magician or the high priestess in reverse, sometimes they're trying to pull one over on you, but you've definitely got the ability with all the queen cards to see what's going on. Be strategic in how you deal with someone that acts like that if that person shows up. It's not going to be everybody, but when I see something like that, I'm like, yeah, definitely look at the fine print. It doesn't have to be retrograde for someone to act a fool. So just look at that stuff and make sure that you're being discerning. So be discerning. We have 5 and 4 of cups right by each other here. So hopes and fears first, then opportunities and outcome here. So for some of you, we'll look at the card upright. You're focusing more on that didn't work. This may not work. I was hoping this would be better, but it wasn't. Or I'm so worried about making everybody happy. It's all the focusing on coulda, shoulda, woulda, maybe, all that sort of stuff. Again, leave it at the curb. What we're looking at, or what we're missing here, is love and support, opportunity and inspiration. There's a lot of cool stuff that's right behind you, right around you. And when you're focusing on the eyes on you or the things that haven't worked out, you start to feel overwhelmed. I kind of like the metaphor of the bathtub on this one because you don't have to be sort of stuck in the ocean to feel like you're drowning. You can just be right there. So heavy emotions coming through this particular period of time. It's okay to cry. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to just sort of have the exaggerated extremes of the two. Try to take care of yourself and just honor whatever's coming through. Allow yourself to be a channel. That's what the magician is. So if you need to laugh or cry. Allow yourself to kind of exorcise that energy so that you can get back to seeing the potential. And in the outcome, we have 2 things coming through. This reminds me of the wizard behind the curtain, or the fact that you know that you are co-creating with Source. That's like Source, your higher self peeking through and saying, you've got this, you've done this before, and you're starting to receive that. And I love that he's lifting up one of those cups and seeing a rose underneath. Roses have both the flower and the thorns or prickles. And so you have to go through the 3 cups that spilled on the 5 of cups in order to get to the 10 of cups or the ace of cups. And he's kind of looking at all of these and thinking, well, maybe this isn't as bad as I thought. Maybe I can do this. Maybe I'm exactly where I need to be at this moment in time. And I think you are. Okay? Let's quickly expand, and then we'll take a look at a big idea to kind of help centrally focus all of this. So as I expand, what we're going to be taking a look at is health, wealth, love, and destiny, focusing first on health and well-being. And as I always say here, I'm basically an intuitive helping you look at energy and opportunities. When and if you need to lean on an expert for help, do that. But looking at the energy of health right now, we have the yellow brick road. Where there's a will, there's a way. And in many cases, that's also what's maybe lacking with the magician reverse. It's just basically, you are the wizard, right? Because this can be the wizard, whether it's the high priestess, the magician, or the hermit. They're all wizard cards, basically. So owning your power and believing in yourself, especially when others don't, okay? So you've got this. I really do believe in all of your collective potential to move through the moment. But it's not always easy getting through the moment. And that's when it's important to know you're not alone, that you have friends, that you have support. And if we think of The Wizard of Oz, I haven't watched it in a while, but if I kind of think like, what did I like the most? Maybe as a kid it was the special effects or something, which again, by today's standards don't seem like they're much. But really as an adult, it's the camaraderie, right? Between Dorothy and all of her otherworldly friends that she met along the way. So it's sort of like, oh, yeah. And same thing with Alice in Wonderland. It was like the friends that helped each other get through this sort of tricky situation. So you've got some friends, you've got some support. You have to reach out a little bit. You have to get out of your shell and keep on walking one step at a time like the Fool. That's really what this is about. Progress and also healing happens one step at a time. It doesn't happen overnight. Grief can be a lifelong sort of thing. You never completely get over losing certain people or certain things, but you learn each day to rely more on your own strength. You know that each day the sun rises, the birds come out, the flowers bloom, people are still around, and you start to engage with the energy that is around you in celebration of what's lost. And I need to talk about that for some reason today because we are on Easter, doing this on Easter, and it is about kind of like making peace with the past, right? Making peace with what's lost. So give yourself an extra time today to say thanks for the people that have gone, for the experiences that didn't work out the way you wanted them to, and look for the roses in your life. There are roses to be had, folks. There are roses. All right, let's take a look at other energy today with respect to health. You also have my permission, you don't need it, for today to be a lazy Sunday if you want it to be. Take a stroll in the park. Watch some TV, read a book, do something that is just helping you feel good, okay? There's a lot of folks around you, so this makes sense. Again, I know a lot of people are sort of like with family today, but lots of queens in the room here with all of this. Lots of heavy energies with that. I would say when we get a lot of royal cards here, whether it's 4 kings or 4 queens, what I would say with this is you can't always make peace with everybody. And in doing, if you try to be the one voice of reason with all of that, that could just be chaos, because the 4 queens plus the king are the 5 of wands to me. That's a messy court. There's a lot going on in that court. So just step back, stay in your own swim lane, and focus on where you can make the most progress. That's why I think it might be a good day to go out and take a walk and let friends and family and everyone else kind of do their thing, and then come back once you've sort of like reset emotionally. The main thing, if we take all of the energy out of this, is don't try to be everything for everyone. Like I said, try not to beat yourself up over the things that haven't worked out. Try to look for those roses. Ask for what you need to be supported, to feel happy, to be okay. Most of this is navigating people and money. So there's a lot of work energy coming through here, and there's a lot of people and relationship energy. I can't wait to look at relationships in a moment to make sense of all of that. But I would say the main thing here is to not lose yourself in the crowd, not lose yourself in the also whatever endeavor that you're working on, school or work or personal development. Make sure that you are practicing proper self-care. That's pretty much it for health. It's looking good across the board, to be honest with you. It's more perspective than anything. I'm not seeing the body as much here as I'm seeing the emotions. So moving on from health to wealth, we're going to look at resources, life purpose, and career. Your card for that one is Spread Your Wings. We got another road, folks. This card is reversed, but let's go ahead and look at this a little bit closer. So this reminds me of, well, I mean, this is really what today's reading is about, right? Looking at the future, reconnecting with source, taking a risk on yourself, rising up just like the Judgment card. The card is reversed. Some of you may have been told you're not allowed to do that. You're incapable of doing that. On Monday, some of you may have that internal dialogue from the past, from the projections of everyone else. And so you're going to give yourself permission, space, and opportunity to spread your wings. Maybe it's time to try something different, new, unexplored, unexpected. That's where the power comes through for you. What's going on in current work environments? Well, I think it's oversaturated. Some of you are in a place where it's what do you call it? Top heavy. There are too many bosses. You're doing a lot, but there's not a lot of room for upward mobility for some of you. Or you may have just been promoted to the final thing and it's really thinking like, okay, I've gotten as far as I can go. How long do I want to stay? Do I want to retire here? Do I want to go somewhere else? So you're kind of at that precipice where you're thinking of next steps. It's not imminent, but what I'm seeing here for some of you is a glass ceiling, and you can deal with that accordingly. You have what it takes and you probably can thrive somewhere else. Remember this, especially since we got the Devil card. The devil you know is still a devil. And staying because you understand, staying because it's convenient or predictable doesn't take away the limitations or the trappings of the devil energy. So if you ever hear someone say that to you, that's a wake-up call too. It's like, well, this is the devil then. What am I doing? Get out of the devil. So if you're in the devil you know situation, cut the ties to that. For the rest of you, it's just really an opportunity to say, I'm not afraid to stand up for myself. I'm not afraid to ask for something. And I may be aware that I've outgrown a situation. I'm a big fish in a little pond, right? So if that's the case, it might be time to get to a bigger pond. All right. Let's see some other things going on. You're a jack of all trades, some of you, and you may have a hard time deciding what to do. This is the quintessential card of being able to do just about anything, wearing many hats. Because I got every element represented, you can do a lot. Maybe you're someone who just doesn't fit into a cookie cutter role and you need something where you can try a lot of things or be a lot of things. So that's just confirmation from the cards if that's you. Don't lose perspective. Things can and will improve. But you have to believe and you have to explore. And for some of you, you just have to walk in a different direction, right? And that's what we see here. You did get a very good card for finances, Wheel of Fortune. It's tempered by emotions. So do you like what you're doing? Do you feel passionate about it? Do you believe in yourself? All of these things can control how many resources come your way. That's everything. For wealth, it's about figuring out, do you want to stay? Do you want to go? Figuring out how to make peace with the fact that you can wear a lot of hats. Interesting sidebar, like if I think back to the second biggest job that I had, it wasn't my second job, but it was like the first one that I really wanted. Possibly even one of my, if I had to pick like my favorite corporate job, it was kind of like a dream job. But I remember that at the end of it, there was a takeover that was happening. A company was buying out or they were merging or whatever. I was sat down with one of the managers that was going to be coming into the department. And they asked me like, well, you can do this, this, and this. What do you want to do? I'm like, can I keep doing all of these things? Because I'm good at all of these things. They're like, no, you have to choose. Because I was a little indecisive, because I had too many skills, they went for the other person who was already going to go for another job. And he and I talked and we're like, I'm just leaving this place too. They stink. I don't need this. So we both left. And it was kind of a great feeling, camaraderie. There was no competition. It was transparent there, which was great. And to me, that was like, you're asking me to be just one thing when I'm many. But for some of you, there's a sacrifice. That was hard for me to walk away from because I really wanted that job. But ultimately, I realized like what I'm doing now allows me to kind of pull it all together. I can write, I can present, I can talk to you, I can be technical, I can be, you don't have to just wear one hat. And most creative people in an artistic field, you see like actor, producer, director, you see like photographer, writer, like it's normal to wear multiple hats. But you may be asked in this moment, what do you want to do now? And you could see it as a now, not a forever. in my youth, I wasn't strategic enough. I should have just said, this is what I want to do. And I could have I knew what I needed to say, but the words wouldn't come out of my mouth because I was authentic. And I was naive and I was younger. But it was okay because I was ready to move on. And some of you may be ready to move on. And sometimes you have to speak your truth, folks. And if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. I don't really regret it because it helped open up other doors. All right, let's move on. We're now going to take a look at love. There's so many people on this spread. I'm definitely interested in this. This is romantic, platonic, friends and family. And we have, this is especially nice for all of my Southern Hemisphere folks. Autumn, release the old and rest. And we have the raven or the crow on top of this basically coming through and saying, all right, let's do this, folks. So in order for something or someone new to come in, you need to release something old. Let's see what the old habits are. Let's see how you can connect with what wants to come in. And that's really nicely connected to today's reading as well. Okay, we're going to look at this in 3 different perspectives. Let's look at existing relationships. Then we'll go to looking for love or single and happy. This is complicated, folks, even for a reader. So we've got like 3 storylines. For some of you, this is almost like you're in the throes of, you might be torn between a couple of people. So if you've been dating, you might be at the point where you have to make a decision and you're having a hard time making a decision. So that would be the main thing here, is to sort of figure out what it is that you want. Some of you are in a bigger relationship. This could be polyamory because I'm looking at so many folks. That can also be complicated, and it requires management, organization, and clear communication when you're doing that. Some of you could be on the rebound, and what I'm seeing is the other partners. So this could be 2 divorced people that have merged families that are dealing with the complexities of having another spouse, and you're bringing that into the mix, an ex, but maybe children as well. So I'm getting big, expanded, and complicated families for existing family situations, for existing partnerships. So I think the most important thing with the complication of all of the expanded families or, the former partners and all of this is the 2 of you. Where do you stand? What do you want from each other? And how are you showing up for each other? That's going to be key to success. And that, my friends, is why the Queen of Swords is here. She's here to talk through challenges and problems. The Magician is the spark that keeps you going. And really what we're seeing for the core relationship, this is you and this is the partner. So you are very good at nurturing a lot of people, taking care of a lot of people. That's why they're all showing up here. The partner may be very good at talking through things or showing you where some problems may be. A lot of these other people are in the past. So it feels like the focus here is on kindling and rekindling the spark, you asking for what you need because they do a better job sometimes with communication, and then not losing track of all the opportunities and the possibilities that want to come through. You have each other's back, and there's something beautiful on the horizon, but there's a lot of distraction. Stay focused, stay communicative. And yeah, I'm just seeing a big expanded family for some of you, okay? All right. And yeah, we're looking at everybody right now, so you can always rewind. I did a elemental. So it's for you, and it's also for everyone right now, so enjoy. That's for people that are in a relationship. The key thing is not to lose yourself in the bigger crowd of people around you. Also, maybe not to lose yourself in work and finance and community at large, because this can also represent someone who's got too many things going on around them, and the partnership is like, well, wait a second. Okay, so this night you're with these friends, this night you're doing this, but when are we going to spend some time? So it could just be an opportunity to make sure that you're not constantly in all of these extracurricular things, because I've rarely had a reading where there's this many people in the spread. For those of you looking for love, I would love for you to be even more clarity is what I'm looking for, because there's not enough discernment. If I get every court card in the deck, that's telling me you've got a lot of options, but you could also be a lot more specific. So when manifesting, make sure that you're not just saying, send me a partner, I want to date someone now, I need to marry someone in 2 years. No, stop. What you want to be very clear on is, I'm ready for someone who is available, kind, intelligent, grounded, is looking for similar things as me. Like, be specific in those ways, and maybe like give 10 high-level things. Don't worry about deadlines. Like saying, I have to have a baby by this date, I have to be married by this date, it has to be this sign. No, those are just things that are going to pull a lot of people towards you, but not the right people towards you. So focus on manifesting the right match. It doesn't have perfection is overrated, but it has to be like a very compatible energy. And then work on you, focus on you. And that's at the end of the day what this is about, is making sure that you're grounded, that everything that you need is in order, that you're focused, because what you're looking for might be right around you, but there's a lot of other stuff going on. And maybe just take a break. If you've been dating a lot, because you could be dating a lot with all of these people coming through, just this week, slow down a little bit. Spend some time with you. The Snail and the Queen of Pentacles want to hang out. Just be a little bit more on your own with yourself, focusing on where you're at, and then take care of you, and then that's going to help clarify the lens for the future. Okay, if you're single and happy, good for you. Clearly, there's no lack of people, networking, or opportunities that want to show up here. I actually feel like this is a really good time to see some advances in your finances or your work. You definitely can network and meet new people. And this is a good time to shine and show up, as people need some leadership with all of this stuff going on. So this is a chance for you to show up and be a great leader if you want to. Okay? Now let's take a look at destiny. Well, it's clear in the fogs, folks. So we have the cloud here, it kind of looks like fog to me. The main thing here is, we've all been through some crazy weather recently too here. Well, at least here in North America, there's been a lot of storms. But as we look at clouds in our head, what this really means is, like, it's kind of like this Queen of Swords cards, like all these different thoughts and possibilities, like, what do I focus on? And that's really what you want to ask yourself. What is it where you can basically feel most connection, most impact, most sort of inspired by? That's where where you want to go. Allow yourself to also just know that, like, this storm will pass, whatever storm you might be going through. And here in Los Angeles, just recently, we started to get back into sort of like the sun again and warmer weather. And I even have my AC on in the background. But for weeks, it was just rain and rain and rain, which is normal winter weather. But for the Los Angeles folks, you know that it's not so much fun. So storms pass, energy moves. This is going to be basically what's going to help you, actually solar plexus, if we're looking at the sun. So, and that is nicely aligned with this. So it's about standing up for yourself, asking for what you need, basically taking the helm and saying, okay, let's do this. That's going to help you clear this out. Only you can do it. This is also very much like the Eight of Swords. Only you can clear the clouds or the uncertainty. So look within, take a deep breath, give it time. Time heals and clears just about everything as well. And I feel like you're going to be all right. All right, let's look at a big idea. And let's look at the big idea, connecting it to the horizon. So this big idea is the thing that you're going to call in, and then I'm going to pull a second one, which is how you can make it happen a little faster or course correct, depending on the card that I pull. All right, so for the first big of the two big ideas, what is it that you're calling in? Change. How can you call in this change faster and be at more peace with the change? Okay, let's talk, folks. So, like I said before, you don't have to leave your body or the planet to change. This is a chance to simply say, I want to do this now. I am this now. I am capable of this now. So, kind of like the Russian doll, where it's like you take one apart, there's another one, there's another one. We're all like that. You can continue to evolve and reinvent. So if you lost a job, if you lost an opportunity, if you didn't get your first choice for school, if someone broke up with you, if someone passed away, this was just one layer of the Russian doll that's being taken apart. There's many, 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 many pieces until you get to the core of it. So you're being asked to step through a little bit of discomfort and uncertainty as you go into change, but also you're being offered opportunity. So this is pretty closely aligned to this. This is saying there's a change, but I believe in the potential. I believe that if I keep moving forward, I'm going to see something come of that change. What can you do to be at peace with and then accelerate the positive aspects of transformation? Well, we have the Princess of Wands or the Page of Wands, and she's basically moving forward and saying, all right, let's see. Let me listen, let me taste, let me sample, let me see if I like it. She's open. Keeping an open mind is going to be the most important thing. And honestly, what empowers all the pages is their ability to listen and absorb. So see what's going on out there, and you're more likely than not going to feel like, oh, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Oh, this seems pretty engaging. Yeah, let's try that. So stay open, folks, and I think that's going to be key. So in summary, looking at everything, what are you calling in? Well, now we know you're calling in change. What's the thing here that I'm looking at that could be inhibiting it? This is what can help it. Well, what could be inhibiting it is there's a lot of similar people around you. There could be competition. There's a lot of similar people. You're asked to be the leader here, but for some of you, it may mean stepping out of this group and creating a new one, or kind of going on your own path a little bit. What is it that you're bringing to the table? A lot. The main challenge for you is focus right now, because as we looked at the Destiny card, it's lacking focus. You have to figure it out, and only you can do it. I can lay out all of this, but the free will always sits with you, folks. The decision, who's running the chariot? It's you. It's always you. Who's the wizard behind the curtain? It's you. It's always you. I'm just here to help you see what you're creating. And there is a rose on the horizon for you. And it is better than you may feel like it is from day to day. So just be slow and be present and embrace the new opportunities that are knocking. Spread your wings, try something new, let go of the old stuff. We have many cards of release, and we have opportunity cards coming through as well. All right, folks. So we're just about done, but before we are, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe. We're going to go on to the meditation, and then I do a final card. Did I answer all your questions? If not, you get a chance at the end to ask us another question. So at that point, we can look at what else the universe wants to bring through, and we'll go from there. So I'd like you to focus. We're going to use the energy of, no one really wants to do the tarantula. We'll do a butterfly. It's more fun to look at. So imagine, if you will, please close your eyes. Let's tune into our bodies first, and then we'll do, like I said, the final card at the end. So close your eyes, take a nice deep breath. Let go of any pain, discomfort, or persistent thoughts that you might be holding on to with a nice, slow exhale. Good. Feel the rising sun warming up your body as it basically rises over the horizon. And imagine that you are just like a butterfly, or just like the hanged man, because a butterfly, the chrysalis that it's in, it's upside down. So imagine that you're getting ready to step back on solid ground, but you have to get out of this cocoon of energy first. So feel the warmth and support of a cocoon around you. You can imagine it being like a hammock instead, so you're not upside down, but just feel like you've got this hammock of energy that's holding you in place between two trees. And you're ready to get out, you're ready to stretch, you're ready to see this new day. So as the sun starts to pierce through the energetic cocoon around you, feel it warming up your heart space and see your own light shining through and clearing the clouds of this cocoon of energy. And then slowly put each foot on the ground and just stretch out and leave your arms outstretched like a phoenix rising. And we're going to play the singing bowl for a moment and just feel that golden light encompass all of your thoughts, your energy, and your body. And then we'll take a look at your final question. Taking another deep breath. Imagine now that you have the capacity to reach your highest goals, to coast into the next opportunity without feeling any sort of friction, and just allow yourself now to go after that dream, that goal, that hope, and know that you are supported. And with that, slowly bring yourself back into your body, taking a couple of deep breaths, putting your feet on the ground, maybe rubbing your hands together and placing them over your heart as you start to reconnect with your energy, taking an exhale as you're doing that, and coming back into this moment, this body, this lifetime, and focusing on the final question that you have for me. All right, just hold that question in your thoughts, and let's see what the guidance is for today. Of course we have another court card. Of course we do. We have the King of Wands, and the King of Wands is coming through to say, hey, we talked about this already. You can do this. He's reversed, but it's saying the flame, the fire, the inspiration comes within. I like that most of these kings and queens are out of their thrones. They're standing up for what they believe in. This is a very bossy card. I have to be clear and honest with that. So when this card is reversed, this is like the ultimate boss card, because he's not going to let something go if he really wants to make it happen. He's clear, he's steadfast, and a bit stubborn. So that can serve you on some levels, but do keep an open mind and do listen as well, because there may be some feedback that's worth taking into consideration. But it's a really strong card, and it portends good things for the week ahead, and today too, connecting it again to today. Okay? So, wow, really amazing energy coming through, and most populated sort of spread that I've seen with respect to court cards. I feel like we got the whole extended family of all the court cards coming through. I think this week's going to be busy. You're going to be connecting with a lot of new people if you allow yourself to do that. And by all means, if you have the ability to go hang out with a friend, go to a networking event, or be seen, you have a really good shot of getting some attention in a positive way. So do that. Okay. Before we wrap up today, I'd like to say thanks to Dakota for helping with moderation today. Thanks to all of you for being present. We're still a little shy of the goal. I did the Q&A, but we're like 150 or 200 away. Let's see if we can hit it today. If you're watching this, it's your first time, go ahead and like so we can officially hit 350. We're close, very, very close. I'm like, why haven't we gotten there yet? So let's get there, let's hit that next milestone, and then let's go beyond that and see what else awaits. If you enjoy what you see here, give me a like and follow on social media. A reminder that I don't give private readings. I'm currently trying to get rid of a fake profile on TikTok. If you ever see one of those, just report them. And someone messages you, no, I don't do private readings. And anyone that does that, you should just report. If you'd like to, give back a little bit with super stickers or super chat, you can do that here. And also, if you ever want to get some more information on who I am or when I'm live or anything like that, you can also take a look at my website. Okay, I just want to say thanks. Thanks for showing up today for many of you on a holiday. Thanks for spending some time with me. And for those of you that are existing members, thanks for always being a part of this channel. For the newest ones, I just want to say a little bit of gratitude here, and then we'll wrap up. So let's see who joined today. We have Nancy Elise, B, row your boat. And I think that's everyone for today. So thank you for joining or rejoining. And let's take a look at anybody that gave back with a super sticker or super chat. And again, gratitude to everybody for just being present today. All right, so thank you, Yoga Rising, for kicking things off today. Lori? Yeah, I think it's Lori. Lydia, Renee, Cynthia, Color Me Happy, Kinga, Catherine, Lydia, Goddess, Aylin, I think, Diana, Lydia again here, different Lydias. No, same Lydia. Thank you for the 2 in a row. I appreciate that. Arizu, Renita, Palace-Athene, Enzo. Good to see you guys. And Carol as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of your presence here today. I hope you have a great week ahead. Again, we have a little bit of time between now and the next retrograde period. So make the most of it. Start some new things. Get some stuff done. And I'll be here. I'll do a special reading as well when we get into retrograde to navigate through that as well. But you've got this. And if I didn't say thanks to the last couple here, Floor, thank you for being a member for almost 2 years. I appreciate that. Carol, thanks for that late contribution. And same thing with Jeannie and Nicole. All right, everybody, have a great day. Lots of love and light from Apollo and I. Oh, Apollo's back. Let's see if we can bring him up for the final piece. Want to say hi to everybody before we go for a walk, buddy? I know, he's like, Dad, I was napping. So a little bit of love from Apollo before we wrap up for all of you that stuck around. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. I'm going to go walk this little bundle of sunshine. Until I see you again, take care.